Welcome back to Market It with Atma, where we share the tips, tools, and strategies to help your business succeed. Today, we have on the show a very special guest, founder and CEO of Shea Asset Management Group, Miss Shikilia Caro. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so glad you're here. You actually hold a lot of hats under this Shea Asset Management Group, right?
Yeah, Shea's pretty diverse.
So take us back. What encouraged you or inspired you to start Shea Asset Management Group in 1999?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Oh, my goodness. Well, what inspired Shea is that I actually relocated here from New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, back in 99. And I was an insurance underwriter back then.
Oh, my goodness.
And a company moved me here. And when I got here, the lady that hired me quit and took a job in Charlotte, North Carolina.
The universe aligned, didn't it?
Yes. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Because I know these people are not going to keep me on, right, at this price.
Unless they need you, right?
Unless they need me. And so I said, okay, the writing's on the wall. So at my 90-day probation period, I quit.
Oh, my gosh.
And I went and got my real estate license. And I'm like, yay, if I'm going to change my life, I might as well go for the gusto, right?
Absolutely.
So I changed my geography and I changed my career.
Oh, my goodness.
And so after I got my license and everything, I said, okay, where do I see myself with this in 20 years? And so I wanted to be able to say 20 years later, that I have 20 years as a realtor, And so with that, I started my business. I went on and, I DBA'd it. And then a year later, I incorporated.
Wow.
And I've been going ever since.
What, when you first started, did you envision it being what it is today?
No.
Not
at all.
So did you exceed expectations, or are you still working towards your goal?
I am really still working hard toward my goal. Wow. I practice giving myself small incremental goals so that I could celebrate. Because sometimes if you don't do that and you can't celebrate the small wins and you're constantly chasing the big win, you can start feeling like a failure.
Yeah, or burnout.
Yeah,
even,
burnout.
Right?
You feel like a failure. You feel like, I shouldn't be doing this. This isn't for me. It's very discouraging, right? So if you just enjoy the walk, enjoy the process to getting there, then it's a lot easier to digest.
I agree. Would you say, when you set out a goal 20 years ago, goals evolve over time, right?
Absolutely.
How has yours evolved? I feel like as they evolve, you're constantly reaching another goal or another format of that goal, right?
Absolutely.
So how has yours evolved since 1999?
All right. I'll give you a high overview.
Okay. Okay.
So the first goal was to get my license and stay in the business for exceed a year. That was the first goal, right? Because most agents, they say about 80% get out of the business in the first year.
Wow, I didn't know
So
that.
my goal was just to hang in there.
I'm going to get there and then I'm
and
good.
celebrate your first anniversary, right?
Yes.
And it should go. It should be on. You should be on fire from there. But after I achieved that, then I wanted to get into mortgages because my whole goal was to be a one-stop shop.
Oh.
And so I got my mortgage. I started doing mortgages, and then I opened up a real estate and mortgage branch.
Wow.
And in that, right in Arlington. And in that branch, I had 11 loan officers, 4 processors, an assistant, and a receptionist. So we were doing pretty well.
I feel like we could have a whole podcast at every moment of your journey. So, yes, keep going with the high-level view.
Yeah. And so when the real estate market crashed, right, I had to pull back out my corporate hat, and I ran for cover. Yeah. It landed me at AAA.
Oh, okay.
AAA Texas. I started out as a life insurance specialist, right? Because nobody would hire me anymore to be an underwriter. Because at that point, I had been in business for myself. I'm in sales. I have all these years of experience. They like, lady, you are not going to sit at the desk and paper push, so just stop playing. So I only got sales calls.
Wow.
So that landed me in life insurance. And so I ended up in 18 months getting promoted with AAA to their sales manager.
Wow.
Over the southern region.
See, and that says a lot about any position you have. I mean, I know through COVID and all the different hurdles that the economy has hit.
Yeah.
Maybe the universe is driving you to something you need to be at.
Exactly.
Because you really made the best of those situations, it seems like.
And so I ended up, I was supposed to just been passing through, of course, right? And getting back to being the entrepreneur that I am.
Yeah.
But I ended up there almost 10 years.
Wow.
They kept promoting me and giving me different regions and things like that. So I had Houston, San Antonio, I had Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire.
Yeah. And
this
you enjoyed
area.
it.
And I enjoyed it. I'm traveling. I'm getting to know different areas and all of that. I'm hiring, I'm training, I'm doing onboarding, I'm doing training and development, everything. So really, in hindsight, that position prepared me for where I am and where I'm going today.
Being an entrepreneur.
That's right.
Because you have to hire, you have to let go, you have to research. And so I
and the travel. Right?
Oh, yes.
And the travel. It prepared me for all of that. So when my husband and I split, again, I'm at that pivotal point where I'm like, if I'm going to change, if I'm going to change that, I'm going to be single again, I might as well jump back off the porch and relaunch my business. But this time, instead of relaunching my business as real estate and mortgage, I relaunched as real estate and insurance financial services.
Because you had that history
now
behind you, the
10 years.
Right. Why not offer that too?
Correct.
Okay.
And so that's henceforth Shea Asset Management Group.
Wow. So underneath that, not only are you doing all those things, you've also managed to be an author, to write a book. Your Wealth is a Mindset.
Yes.
What inspired you to move into that area of the world to help people, or do you just like writing?
I definitely, it's not because I like writing. That is definitely not it. It's definitely my desire to help and give information, that I know a lot of people don't pay attention to certain areas. So when I was doing mortgages, there's a question on the mortgage application that asks, do you have life insurance? And it used to frustrate me so much, the number of people that said no. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. You have a $250,000 home, two $40,000 cars between you and your wife or husband, your spouse, and you have 2.5 kids.
2.5, I love that.
The 0.5 is the dog.
I love that. I'm going to use that one.
Right? Okay. And you're going to leave your spouse hanging with all of that. So I would intentionally put my pen down and say, you have to change that. So one day I was venting at home, like, why do we think this way? And my dad goes, Kaya, that's what he calls me. Maybe you should sell life insurance because you're real passionate about that thing. So it was just crazy, that I ended up that the crash of the real estate market
really
landed
me
into life insurance.
I mean,
right?
Yes.
And so who knew all the aspects of life insurance and how it's a financial vehicle and all of those things that I learned was just amazing. And so when I looked forward and said, in 20 years, what am I going to be doing and things like that, I'm like, I'm going to be sharing whatever information that I have gathered over those 20 years, right?
I say that's a true leader,
am.
Right? You take what you've learned and you share it.
Yeah.
That's a leader in any industry, in my opinion, for sure. Absolutely. So the first book you wrote kind of goes over the do's and don'ts, things you wish you'd have known?
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So I was, about 18 years old when I got my first life insurance policy. Wow. Because, I'm out there acting a donkey and everything. I'm partying and everything. And my young mind said, my parents shouldn't have to bury me because I'm in these streets acting crazy.
Right.
And so I went and got a life insurance policy. Well, that agent didn't educate me at all. She sold me a 20-year life insurance term, a 20-year term at 18 years old, not telling me that I had the option for permanent insurance, that I had an option for a policy that could grow cash value. So in essence, you're saying I'm not going to be insured at age 38.
Right. She didn't want to take the time to go through it with you.
She didn't give me any kind of education, because even if she felt like I couldn't afford, the policy at that time, a better policy at that time, had she educated me, I would have known to go back, or that my term actually had a convertibility aspect to it, and that I could have converted it once my career, took off. She gave me no education.
Wow.
So that was the fuel to my fire.
Behind
that
all
I'm
of
like,
it.
no, we have to tell people, and then you can make an informed decision.
Absolutely.
So if you make a decision not to invest, we're not supposed to use the word invest when we're talking about insurance, but in essence, investing in yourself, in your future, and your family.
Someone mentioned to me, they use this phrase, life insurance is the greatest gift you can give to a family member.
Hallelujah.
It really is.
Absolutely.
Every time I think about that, I'm like, do your family members really care if they don't have it?
Yes. You heard that term. They used to say, oh, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And I say, no, he didn't have a silver spoon. Someone just cared enough to leave him a legacy.
That's right.
To give him a spring.
And that's amazing to have. And I don't know what inspired you to get life insurance at 18, because I really was not thinking about that at 18. But you've had mentors in your life, it seems like, that have helped guide you. Okay, this is what's important. Go ahead and make your own decisions.
None of them told me that.
Really?
Mm-mm. So none of them told me that. And that's how it became a passion of mine.
Right.
Because had I known, I would have been able to act quicker.
Right. You would have made moves differently.
I would have made moves differently.
Absolutely.
Right? And so now when you fast forward in current age, life, all the living benefits, the things that life insurance offer, the strategies, you heard of infinite banking and all of that. Infinite banking is life insurance.
See, a lot of people don't know these things.
Infinite banking is actually financed through life insurance. Is different strategies of funding various types of life insurance policies.
Wow. So how do you come across, typically in your flow, how do you come across people that need to be educated on this? Do you do it through advising them about financial wealth so they can purchase a mortgage? How do you leeway into advertising to your audience they need to understand this information?
All of the above. So, right, because everybody have different needs.
Right.
So my approach is to always do fact finding so that I can meet you where you are. I can't assume where you are based on where the last lady was. Right. So I have to be very good at fact finding. And so it helped me create my Money Matters process.
Okay.
So I have what is called a Money Matters analysis. And it's a slew of questions that asks about where you are currently financially.
Okay.
Do you own a home? Do you have 401k, stocks, bonds, any of that? Do you have life insurance? How many children you have? Who are you responsible for?
Oh, wow.
Is it your parents? Do you have aging parents? What happens to them if something happens to you prematurely? Right? So those are the types of things. So my whole first consultation with a client is fact-finding.
Oh, wow. So in this, what I call a course that you just mentioned, it's a fill in the blank to help you realize where you need to be?
Correct.
Okay, wow.
So first step, fact-finding. So now your mind is going because you're having a conversation you don't normally have.
Right.
You may have portions of the conversation, and you may have portions of the conversation in your head. But now that you're having to spew it out, to me, it's making you go, wow, yeah, what does happen to mom? Oh, my goodness. If something happens to my sister or my brother, they probably are going to expect me to take care of their kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So all those things are thought-provoking.
Yep.
And then the next step after the consultation and everything is the review.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm putting this into a report.
Okay.
And I'm reviewing this back to you, making sure I have my numbers right.
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 Okay.
And now that report is showing or the gaps, if there are any.
I see.
The report also helps you celebrate the things that you have accomplished, because the report will say, hey, you're on track.
You
right?
know, you provide almost a sense of peace to what they say is one of the most stressful things you can do in a marriage is buying a house and getting married, right?
That's
Those
right.
are the
That's
two
right.
most stressful. But if I had known the things that you've just taught me rather than going through the process and learning the hard way, it would be exactly what you imagine when you're a kid, right? That blissful moment. And so what are one instance of you being able to help somebody through your method that really resonated with you, that stuck with you over time? Can you think of one?
Yes. I always have this is the perfect scenario, and it just utilized every aspect of what Shea does, Shea Asset Management does. I have a client who purchased a home with me 17 years ago.
Oh my.
Full circle, during the course of those 17 years, insurance I provided, for her. I also was her financial coach, right? So whenever she made moves as far as moving money around, investing in her retirement, all of that kind of stuff, we spoke, we did that. So now she's approaching retirement, and she says, I want to move away.
Oh, wow.
It's time for you to sell the house. So now I'm selling. At that point, it was 16 years later, the very house I sold her.
Oh, my gosh. What a full circle moment.
And we did her financial assessment beforehand to make sure she was ready for retirement.
And was she?
And I was able to send her report with a huge, congratulations. You are ready for retirement.
Wow.
And when I tell you it was a celebration for me just as much as it was for her, that was everything that Shea is built to be.
Exactly what you envisioned.
Exactly what I envisioned.
That is incredible.
To be your one-stop financial resource.
Not only that, you're creating relationships. And we talk about that a lot at Atma is you can't sell to people. I would never consider myself a salesperson, but I can create relationships. I can talk to people and understand them. And for you to be a part of their family for that long, I mean, you must take a lot of pride in that.
I do. It was, I can't, it makes me emotional just thinking about it, because that was just, I couldn't have asked for anything better. Absolutely. In that situation.
Honestly, you're a blessing to all those people as well.
Can I share another one with you?
Absolutely.
This one right here was such a challenge. It tested all of my critical thinking.
Okay, I want to hear about
problem
this one.
solving,
learning
thinking
moments.
outside of the box, creativity. It took everything to get this particular deal done. This was a real estate situation. I have my senior designation, so I'm certified to work with the senior community.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and also certified in probate real estate.
Oh, my goodness.
And so in this particular case, she fit both. She had lost her husband, and she wanted to sell the house so she could move closer to her family. Well, in Texas, all community property is held 50-50. And so he had children from a prior marriage. And so when he passed away, most people think automatically the property becomes the spouse, but it actually became 50-50. His ownership to his heirs passed on to
without
his heirs.
Without a will, right? Unless
right.
you have the will. Okay.
Correct. Okay, so he passed without a will, so his 50% went to his children. Well, 2 out of 3 of his children were deceased.
Oh my.
So, and the one child that was living hates the wife.
Of course.
Because he felt like she was the cause of the demise of his parents' marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So he could not stand her. So I had to get in there and put my psych hat on.
Referee, psych, yeah.
And talk to him about what her options are.
Mm.
And so you could either benefit, right, by signing, or I'll just help her lease out the property. She hold it and you get nothing until something happens to her. You
Smart
see?
move, very
Right.
smart move.
I'm like, and we see here that you owe child support. And so what we can negotiate is the attorney general taking this lump sum, pay off your child support, and you finally get to keep your income tax every year.
And you would not have been able to offer that if you didn't do your research, right?
There you go. Then the 2 that were deceased, one didn't have children. So his inheritance went to his mom. So now the new wife had to break bread
with the other wife.
With the first wife. And then the third child that was deceased, or the second of the 2 that was deceased, her child was in prison.
Oh, Lord.
So I had to get in touch with the warden because he had to sign.
Oh, my goodness. So you went and made a trip to the prison?
No.
Oh, God.
No. We were able to get it done, get a notary there and all that. Wow. But I'm telling you, so when people talk about the job of their realtor, this, that, and the other, your financial professional and all of that, you have no idea
all of the things that come with
on this side.
it.
Crisis management is one of the biggest reasons to have a financial professional on your side.
Yeah, to even consult.
Even know, because you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
So you don't even know what to ask if you don't know.
Right. I think a lot of people will rely on attorneys for that, but y'all don't understand. That is a hefty cost per question.
There you go.
So having what you do and someone like you with such a variation of knowledge is almost invaluable to me anyway. It's hard to find people you can trust, to guide you in the right direction. But you're not actually opening these accounts for them. You're directing them in the right direction, where to go and what to do.
When you say opening these accounts, what type of account?
Like you're not a bank.
No, not a bank.
You're not going to give them a loan.
But exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I do provide them with the insurance vehicles, the financial vehicles, but through major companies, National Life, New York Life, all of that, I broker. So I am able to fit the best product to my client instead of vice versa.
Making it stress-free almost.
Correct.
That's incredible.
That's the mission.
So in terms of marketing, all of the different things you do, what strategies have been most successful for you? Do you use social media? Do you use your website to draw in people? Do you go to networking events? What would you say is your strongest attribute in terms of marketing?
I'm a walk it, talk it girl. I do better in person. COVID forced me to
get creative,
to show my skill on video, right? So I host my Girl Flip course online.
Tell me about that.
Now.
What is that?
So Girl Flip is an investment training course that I wrote and created to give women a safe space to invest in real estate, learn how to invest in real estate, to become investors. Because a lot of times, the hesitance is, I don't know what to do.
Or where to start.
Where to start. So a lot of people will go to these high-level investment seminars and all of that kind of stuff. And it sounds great, but they're frozen into inaction because I don't know where to start. So what my program does is actually walk you through step by step, from structuring your company all the way to getting financially fit and purchase ready, right? And then deciding, how do you know what type of funds to go after? Do I do private funding? Can I qualify for traditional funding? All of those things, to building your team.
Wow.
Right? What questions do I ask a contractor? What is the process? If I'm trying to determine whether I'm going to keep this property for income or I'm going to fix it and flip it, how do I determine that?
Yeah.
So all of that, I walk you through step by step. I tell everybody, this is not an information session. So if you are not ready to do the work, because you get homework and there's things you're supposed to do to move the ball forward.
Right.
So if you're just coming to collect information, you probably should wait until you're ready to do work.
You want to give them actionable next steps on
Correct.
every portion of it.
Correct. So right now, where we are in the process, for instance, this particular class, their assignment right now that they were given on Tuesday is, here is your due diligence list. I had them previously pick a property that they would actually be interested in.
Wow.
So now they have to do their due diligence on that property. Has the items been permitted? What type of zoning is it? What are you allowed to do?
Wow, all the things they'll need to know, but you
Correct.
give them kind of the structure.
So they're walking through it.
Yeah.
No, they got to turn it in.
Wow.
So before next class.
And
so they have to turn that list in.
Are you putting this coursework in the order of which they will need to use it in?
Correct, in the order.
So
exactly.
it's muscle memory training almost.
So you're going through the whole process.
Wow, along the way. Now let me circle back because I didn't let you answer one question.
What's that?
is how you think is the best marketing tool, but really you did answer it. It's all of the above.
And word of mouth. I can't really say that I've gotten any business off of social media.
Right, it's more
but
informational.
Social media is the first place people go, just like you did, to look me up. So I have to make sure my branding is there, my presence is there, because it just kind of certifies whatever conversations that you and I have had.
Yeah, it makes you look valid.
Correct.
What's funny is I reached out to you on social media, but you're actually a client of ours, aren't you?
Yes. And I thought that that's why you reached out to me.
No.
Wow.
Not at all. No, I didn't even know you were a client. And then one of my coworkers was in my office, and they're like, "You have a podcast with her?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "She's one of our clients." And so, of course, I got to go look at everything. Like, do we do everything right?
Look, so all this time when I was communicating with you, I thought it was because...
No idea. But you know what? That's a good idea to reach out to my current clients. It's really not a bad idea at all. But no.
Yep, I thought that's why how we founded each other.
No, but I am so proud to say that you've been with us since the inception of Advent Trinity.
Absolutely.
So that relationship is very strong.
Yeah.
Would you say
back when they were in what is it over there? Not Arlington.
I honestly don't know. Pantego, yes.
Yeah, when they were in Pantego.
See, and you're still with us today. I'm so proud to say that. So the website, for instance, that you mentioned, just gives you the credibility.
Absolutely.
It shows you what you say is backed by all the information that's listed.
And it goes in the detail, right? So now you can read the certifications that I have, because I can't spew everything out to you in 20 minutes,
right.
And so now you can go and take a deeper dive to kind of, again, verify what I've already told you, and dig a little deeper.
This makes a lot more sense as to why my web developer was like, yeah, she's an author and she's this and she's this. And I'm like, how do you, this makes more sense now.
Exactly.
So you built a strong foundation. We really focus on build, launch, grow, scale at Atma. Where would you say you are in that build, launch, grow, scale methodology?
I feel like I kind of am consistently and constantly fitting in all
and that's how you become successful, right?
I'm constantly there, because any I guess achievement that I make, then it's okay, what's next? So I'm constantly in growth mode. I'm constantly in launch mode, right? Because it's the next thing. And I already have, like, it might be 15 things, let's say, that I want to achieve.
Right.
So once I check off these 5, it's on to the next 5.
You never stop. Would you
No.
encourage others who are starting out as entrepreneurs or even just working on branching out on their own in a new life like you did, to always continue growing?
Well, no, I don't. That's not, I never make general statements because
Interesting.
what's for me is for me and what's for you is for you.
That's right.
So it's about finding your sweet spot. And it's about finding that's why the book is called Wealth is a Mindset. Because what you feel wealth is may be different than my definition of wealth. Now, of course, we have the what the statistics say
Right.
wealth is, right? And what's that margin
Mm-hmm.
and that magic number. But for me, reality is just like success is relative,
Mm-hmm.
so is wealth.
Everything is relative almost. And I love that you came on the podcast because I didn't know this much about you, but it's very similar to what our view is here at Atma, customizing it.
Mm-hmm.
People come to us so many times asking, okay, well, how much do you charge for this? How much do you charge for that? Well, do you want something everybody else has, or do you want something made for you?
Correct.
And what's your budget? Why would I just throw a number at you if you can't afford it?
Right.
Let's get where you need to be, right?
Exactly.
And that's exactly
Yeah,
how you
because
framed
some
it.
people are like, we have different ideas of retirement, right?
Yes.
One person retirement looks like I'm sitting on the porch with my iced tea. You know what
I
I'm
was just
saying?
going to say the same thing.
And that is my idea of retirement. So what I need financially for retirement is going to be totally different.
It's true.
Where my retirement looks like I wrote the book and these courses specifically for my retirement. You're like, huh? How's that retirement? Because my retirement looks like me spending 2-3 months in the Bahamas, right? Calling it work. Because I'm doing some speaking engagements, I'm doing a course, a series, and everything. So now I'm getting to travel. I'm getting to, once I get off and finish speaking to you guys, I get to go lay on the beach. That's my vision.
Absolutely.
Of
Would you
my
say
retirement.
that's a common misconception in terms of wealth building for people is we're not all the same?
Not all the same.
Would you say that's the biggest misconception, or what would you say is?
That is one of the biggest misconceptions. And I can't really think of another one.
Close second, maybe a close second.
Okay, a close second. A close second may be that I think a close second may be legacy. Misconception of what legacy is, or maybe not even paying attention or having legacy on your radar. Right? Some people come from the school of thought of, hey, I had to get it in the mud, so should you.
Yep. I think I was raised that way.
Right. Yeah, right. But what I'm coming to understand and trying to get people to understand is that preparing legacy is also going to give you a whole nother realm and what's the word I'm looking
Sense
for?
of security?
Thank you so much.
You're
It's
welcome.
going to give you, look, as if that's not the first line in the book, security.
And I have not read the book.
That's like the first
We're
chapter
just aligned.
in the book.
I love it.
So absolutely, it's going to give you a sense of security while you're living, and then that is going to pass on to your heirs. That security
Right.
is your legacy.
It really is.
So it's one and the same, and we can make it fluid
with the right education.
Correct.
It feels like.
Correct.
So, what's one powerful piece of advice that you would give to people that are looking to secure their financial future? What's one piece of advice you would give our audience, whether it be business owners or clients?
Individuals and business owners. Every coach needs a coach. So the first order of business is to find someone you trust. Get a financial professional on your team, right? So whether you're an individual, you should have a financial team.
Okay.
If you're a business, you should have a financial team. And so you have to find people that you trust, that can expose you to things you may be unaware of. that could help give you the security you're looking for.
So would you, do you still have mentors and coaches that you refer to for?
Absolutely.
Really? Even after all this experience?
Listen, I just posted today, and I said, I forever a student. That's my hashtag. Hashtag forever a student. I'm gonna forever be learning. And I can't deliver information to you if I'm not currently taking in information.
That is very
so
true.
I have to consistently, and whatever I know today, look at the changing times. So what is so today, that's why as a licensed professional in more than one or two areas,
1, 2, 5.
it's consistent continuation. Education, continuing education. Why? Because the market changes.
Right. You have
so
to change.
even the state dictates that I have to constantly be learning so that I'm delivering the right information to you. So aside from what they make me do, right?
Yeah.
I go out and seek information so that I can better serve my clients.
Right. So being able to optimize your strategy as a salesperson, a marketing person, or an entrepreneur, you have to be able to do that. Seems like what you're saying to be successful.
Because it's so much out there. There is no way you can ever get to the point that you feel you know it all. Because it's changing too much, and it's still so much out there to learn. Brian will tell you that with the first class that I took when he was trying to force me to learn technology, I wanted to cry and throw things at him.
He is a teacher. He's a teacher.
And then he would be all calm. Shikilia, you ain't. And I'm like, I want to kill you right now. But I had to stop saying in the last year or so, I'm like, I have to stop calling myself technology challenge, because now when I compare myself to others.
You're up there now.
Oh, my goodness.
Have you taken the new courses? He put out some new courses.
Did he?
Shameless plug.
No. Okay. I'm gonna seek some out.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I have been really just making myself, because in my mind, I kept thinking, oh my goodness, it's taking me 2 hours to do this, and somebody else will come in here and do it in 10 minutes. But what I am learning and finding, that if you're really honing in on the technology, even the experienced person, they may have to sit there and tinkle with it for an hour or two.
I will say every day.
Yeah.
Every day I have to learn something new or an update to a technology and how to do it correctly.
Exactly. And as soon as you learn that piece of technology, they update it and tweak it and change it, and now you got to figure out how it works again. Facebook, for example, totally different than 3 years ago as far as how you can navigate on it. And so I'm no longer, this is my announcement to the world, I'm no longer technology challenged.
Yay.
I am in technology growth.
You really are. And would you say at whatever point you are, you finally reached a point where you're like, you know what? This is a full-time job learning the marketing technology. Let me get a team on my side. Would you say
Absolutely.
that's helped you?
Yes. And so I don't have the team that I want yet. But my team looks totally different than it did a year ago, 2 years ago. And so definitely in growth mode, didn't I say?
There we go. You figured it out.
Growing,
yeah.
Constantly growing. And so I do have a good team that is very patient. That is very patient with me and everything. But I definitely am trying to get to the point where I can have that right-hand person. Back when I had my mortgage branch, my assistant, she will tell you what my answer would be separate from what her answer would be. That's how well she got to know me, how I move, and how I think.
We need her back.
I know, right? And so, yeah, that's what I'm looking.
Well, hopefully in the next year or so, you'll come back on and be like, you know what? I found my person. So to point that out, if people want to know more about you, to learn more about your courses or the books you've written or just your story even, how can they reach you?
Well, a couple of ways. You could definitely reach me on social media under Shea Assets. When you put in Shea Assets, it will come up. okay, with an S on the end. You also can reach me via email, info@sheaassets.com.
Okay.
And you can reach me on my website. I have a stay in touch contact tab there. You can reach me there, and also call me, 469-510-5182. 469-510-5182. Shikilia at Shea Assets.
I love it. I will also be adding it to the bottom of this podcast. This was probably one of the funnest podcasts I've had, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It was really a pleasure.
Well, we're going to talk more soon.
Love it.
And to our audience, thank you for returning to another episode of Market It with Atma. We'll see you next time.